Hello, poopsies, and thank you for joining me today for another ASMR video. So today I'm going to be showing you some books for this hour-long session, and then if I have a little bit of extra free time, I'm going to do some tarot pulls at the very end of this. So this is a booking by a poopsie by the name of Frances. So they said, "Hi Tony, my name is Frances. I use they them pronouns, and I'm a long-time listener and subscriber." Well, thank you for that. Your ASMR got me through my high school to college transition, and 6 years later through my move across the country and transition into my biology PhD program. Wow, congrats on that. You're very smart. I am now 2 years in and celebrating my 25th birthday. Happy birthday to you. September 30th, Libra. Oh, okay, so that should be today by the time I'm posting this video. So, happy birthday. And completion of my first round of graduate exams this fall with this booking. I love your whisper ASMR. I was hoping for some of that. Yes, I'll do some of that for the most part, but an hour of whispering, it's kind of difficult, so I'm gonna probably switch it up from time to time, briefly. I also really am into books and reading. Perhaps if you could do a walkthrough of books on your shelf, or your BF's books, or if you've already talked about those, perhaps pop by your local library and pick up a few books. If that's not too much work, I can also tip extra if needed. Thank you for that. I'll explain in a moment. I talk about the aspects that drew you to those books: cover art, title, author. I love page turning, the crinkling of the plastic on library books. I'll explain in a moment. Tapping and just rambling. If any of that is too much, also life rambling and tarot pearls for school success and love life would be so much appreciated. I've just begun dating my roommate who I've known for 18 years. We complement each other nicely, but we're both a little nerdy and shy and love some spiritual insight into how we mesh and what our future might hold. I'm so thankful for the peace you've brought me for so many years, and I really appreciate you as a creator and artist. Please feel free to share this publicly on YouTube if spirit compels you. I love it if you could provide comfort to any book-loving, scholarly, or nerdy people out there. Please don't hesitate to email me if there's any more questions or things to elaborate on, or if I was unclear in any way. Thank you for what you do, and give Paco some love from me. Best regards, Frances. Thank you, Frances. That was a very kind, sweet message of you. So yeah, I will explain myself. I looked on my partner's bookshelves because he has, oh my gosh, easily over 1,000 books in here alone. And I just couldn't. I found a couple crinkly covers, but not like, I know you're talking about the type of crinkly cover that you specifically find like libraries and stuff. I'm like, I don't need to go to the library because I have the library right here in front of me. I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, so I'll try my best to incorporate that kind of a similar sound, but I could not find the exact crinkle. I think it's pretty close though, and I wanted to only show books that I'm interested in, or subjects that I'm interested in and that draw me in. So to do that specifically, I don't think I'd have much luck in a library either, because typically those covers are like older books and stuff. So and I don't have a membership, and I don't even know where my library is, if they even have one nearby. So yeah, but I would say I definitely put some effort into browsing through all these books, and this is the best I could find, so I'll get to it momentarily. But I wanted to first show you this whopping big book. I haven't actually read through it entirely yet. This is not the size of the book. This is just like 1/6 of the book. Yes, it's that big. It's called Celestial Gallery by Romeo Shrestha. Text by Ian A. Baker. Forward by Deepak Chopra. Afterward by Robert A.F. Thurman. So obviously anything with the Buddha, anything with spirituality will draw me in, but this is the book. It is enormous. Okay, it's a very large book with big text, so easy on the eyes if you're a, struggle to, if you need reading glasses, basically. Okay, so the artwork just draws me in, this kind of stuff. This kind of trippy stuff. It almost looks like Mandelbrot kind of stuff, right? It's very cool. But yes, it's even bigger when you flip it open. Obviously, it is an enormous book. It's so heavy. So it just talks about different subjects with these artworks. In terms of the Buddhism, I believe. So you can kind of get the gist and the idea of like one side has artwork, the other side has text. I need a moment. So I think we've all heard of Deepak Chopra. I don't know too much about them, but it talks about just so many different subjects here. White Tara, the Divine Mother, Green Tara, the Protectress, Paldalamo, the Dark Goddess. So just the wheel of deluded existence. So it just makes you think about life and, the chakras, vortices of energy. So there's a lot here. The cosmos of healing, cosmic fire, the vision of Rahula. So much female energy, all this stuff. So yeah, I just, really enjoy reading into more of this concept of life, spirituality. I'm sorry I made a loud sound. I apologize. It's just very hard to move this book around. I hope I didn't thump you too much there. Okay, so I have literally like a pile of books next to me, so I have to kind of bend down and reach on the floor. So yeah, let's move on into the next one. Right now I just started reading the third Harry Potter all over again. I read them all maybe like 20 years ago or so, but now I'm reading the Mina Lima version with my book light. And these just have like pop-ups in them, and it helps to read the book this way because the text is bigger, which is nice. Little pop-ups. I love pop-up books. So there's a bunch of little different things and contraptions here. Let me show you another one. So our goal is by the time December comes around, when we have some friends coming into town, we're all going to go to Universal Orlando and go to the Harry Potter section, and our goal is to read all 7 books. I already read the 7th one. So, like maybe like a couple months ago. So, because I never got the chance as a kid to read the 7th one. I lost interest after a while. So I'm on the 3rd one now, so I'm going to stop it after I read the 6th one. And then as we're both finishing, me and my partner, the first book, then we watch the first movie, which we've just done last weekend. And then we both just finished the 2nd one. Now this weekend we just finished the 2nd movie. Now we're finishing up. We're going to finish the 3rd one, and then we're gonna obviously watch the 3rd movie. So we're doing that, and we're hoping to finish by December before they come, so we can be better prepared to take everything in there. And yeah, so just remember stuff like I didn't even remember who Cornelius Fudge was. Who's that? The Minister of Magic, right? So that's why it helps to reread the books. It used to do literally like book reports on the Harry Potter books too for school until they banned it because it was too easy or gratifying for us kids. So, which kind of sucked because I really enjoyed it, and it made the pop quizzes a lot easier. They used to have like electronic quizzes for every book in the library. books from childhood, it makes you process more and think differently. You know, I couldn't absorb nearly as much as a kid or understand fully in depth as a kid. I remember even as a kid struggling reading like different parts, like this person said this and then this person said this, but then without the author writing, Harry said, Hermione said, it's just like little interruptions between. I used to always struggle and have to read back and go back and reread as a kid, and it was still hard for me to fully absorb what they said, you know what I'm saying? So as an adult, when someone has wrote their own book and taken many classes, it got better with time, you know, for sure. So yeah, okay, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. You can see here, there's the Sorcerer's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets. This is a Harry Potter themed section here, as you can see the Mandrake, all Harry Potter books, Fantastic Beasts, Where to Find Them, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Tales of Beetle the Bard, and the Pop-Up Guide to Hogwarts, Harry Potter Creatures and Harry Potter Magical Places pop-up books as well. So all the HP stuff is there, and Dobby the elf on a Funko Pop. So that's my booze. I'm in my booze room right now, one of his rooms. So alright, yeah, I am like nerdy obsessed about Harry Potter, stuff like that. So alright, so we're gonna move along to Dolores Cannon. So this is a pick from my bookshelf. Oh, and by the way, the Mina Lima book, the fourth one, the Goblet of Fire, they only have 3 of these so far. The fourth one of this version is coming out. Like I said, it's the same book, same text, it's just bigger, it's more colorful, more illustrations. It's wonderful. It's much better to read that book. It's so much more enjoyable than the plain text. But the fourth one, Goblet of Fire, I already pre-order last month. It should come around October 17th. So I'm hoping it comes on time for me to finish this book and then move on and read the next book immediately. And then, yeah, I'll have to read the 5th and 6th book on the plain text, but that's alright, you know, it's better than nothing. But I do pray that Mina Lima comes out with the 5th, 6th, and 7th books illustrated as well. I know it takes a lot of time at work because the books are so thick, so I can only imagine how thick the 4th book is going to be. It's probably going to be like this big. Okay, because it's a very long book. So, Dolores Cannon, Keepers of the Garden. I picked this from my bookshelf because I love Dolores Cannon's work. She wrote 19 books. I read them all except for one because I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So Keepers of the Garden is my, I would say, top pick because it really describes the aliens that are watching us. They are the keepers of the Garden of Earth, right? And if you think about it, you know, they can't go against our free will, right? And basically, if you're like, WTF, Tony, what? I've already mentioned this many times in videos before. Basically, when many people have been hypnotized in hypnotherapy regression, they all see the same thing, right? Especially when channeling the aliens, right? And if that comes through, you know, even people who have nothing to do with it, they don't know anything about aliens, they haven't, you know, watched documentaries and shows on it, like, they have no opinion, they just all of a sudden randomly channel the aliens, right? Or they've had a past life as an alien / future life, you know. Basically, I'm trying to summarize it. It's so hard to summarize what I just said. Like, you might be confused. It's okay. But basically, they all see that, you know, aliens are pretty much here watching above us, you know, and they are making sure that they are not influencing our free will, so they can't just show up, you know, until it's time for them to do so and to merge with society. So this talks in depth about, you know, why they're here. You know, they've always been here, you know, it's nothing new really. They have to make sure their civilization they've created is in working order, you know. And I know people are like, you know, some people in my past have said, like, you know, I've studied like all this stuff, and this would go against Charles Darwin and all that stuff. Well, again, it asks you to open your mind, because all that stuff is just theory. All that stuff is just science, which is just theory. That's it. It's just predictions, you know. Even scientists, they don't know until they know 100%. You know, they're just guessing. So, there was just a recent breakthrough about the theory of evolution, and you know, humanity dates back over 1 million years ago. You know, it's not just 200,000-300,000 years ago. They actually just recently found a skull that's from 1 million plus years ago. So it's like, you know, you really have to think a bit, and not just like listen to what you're told, right? You have to do your research and read for yourself and think for yourself. So this definitely opens your mind, and like people always see that the spacecraft looks this very similar. You know, they use crystal technology, and you know, always like same shapes, and so they can teleport instantly. You know, they can travel through space-time at literally, even, I would say probably even faster than the speed of light. You know, this tech is coming now with quantum technology. That's like, I would say probably one of the last breakthroughs that are going to unfold pretty soon. And I think definitely once the aliens see that we've evolved and ascended enough, and we're peaceful, we're not having wars and conflicts, we're not crappy people, you know, we don't treat each other like SHIT, then they're going to come, and then they're going to, you know, eventually merge with us. And, you know, who knows, you know, some people say soon or now. I don't know. Who the hell knows, honestly, and I don't care to know, right? I just know that we need to do better. We need to stop the incessant S-U-A-G-H-T-E-R-I-N-G of people, right? You know, we just need to get together, be peaceful. We need to honestly just work together and get along for once, and stop dividing ourselves so damn much, you know, with certain ideologies and beliefs. That we just need to come together and work at it, you know. And that's what they do, you know. All their planets are an ecosystem of one, you know, and they're trying to see basically like what will happen if you give us for the first time. And that's what makes us so different, I guess, and special, is that we have free will. They're like, let's see what happens with giving them free will. Let's not interfere or intervene this time. This is a worthy grand experiment. So if free will ends to unity and oneness, good. So far it hasn't. So far it's caused so much chaos and disruption. So this is a very interesting read if you want to open your mind to the aliens. Okay. So, and give you a different perspective. You know, so many people are still stuck on, oh my god, we saw this craft. They're acting so surprised. I'm really not surprised with all this news. All of them so far have been like, oh my gosh, oh Congress, oh my god, we saw a craft, girl. And guess what happened when we shot it down? It went whoop. It like shot the bullets back up. I'm like, are y'all really that surprised? If they can travel faster than light, do you really honestly think your measly little laser is gonna shoot that craft down? Honestly, I'm like floored at how behind we are still in so many freaking ways. It's craziness. So I'm like, are you for realsies? Are you for realsies? Okay. Anyways, so just try to think of it in the term of, oh, they're observing us. Look at things through that lens from now on. Whenever you hear about aliens and UFO technology, everything's going to start making more sense. Mark my words. Read that damn book. Seriously, read it. A series of unfortunate events. So this is the 13th book. It's called The End. I recently bought all 13 books, minus one, because I couldn't find it. So I'm going to reread this series once I am completed with the Harry Potter series. So again, something to continue to enliven my inner child. This was my favorite series as a 4th grader, somewhere around that time. These books came out pretty darn quickly, one after the next. They are pretty quick reads. I mean, yes, they're like 300 pages, but like page is so small and the text is so large, so it's really, I'm not surprised that the author popped these out like Octomom Pop babies. So, yeah, basically, Lemony Snicket is fabulous. I've yet to see the Netflix series. I am curious to see it, honestly. I really should. I should probably do that next, like read one book, look at the series, read one book, look at whatever. Okay, so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and I love the grooved pages. That's what makes it so unique. And I love, do you know what I love the most, guys? Do you know what I love the most? The pessimism, right? The negativity of this book. The darkness, it like feeds a part of you, you know what I'm saying? It's so weird. It's like, you know, I love the happiness and the positive too, don't get me wrong. But it's like equally this too, right? I need some of this in my life too. Like the drama, the suspense, the unknown, right? That kind of feeds your soul in a weird way, right? So so I love that. I love how like dark and twisted it gets. I'm like, oh yes, give me more, right? I remember even as a kid feeling scared reading this sometimes, but it gave me like a rush in a weird way. Like I loved it. I would look forward to coming home from school and jumping on and reading this book. And I was always the type of kid, I was nerdy myself. Look, I have glasses since the 6th grade, right? Alright. I was always on the computer. I kind of was a loner. I had maybe always like 2-3 friends max, right? I was definitely never the popular kid. I was always picked on usually. And I had acne, so there you go. Right? I went through it all, okay? And, I was a bookworm in elementary school. Some middle school. And, yeah. I would come home, do my homework right away. No, you think I'm joking. All 12 grades, every day, consistently. I never missed a day. Like, I would come home and do my homework right away. Like, if that's not a dang nerd, I don't know what the heck is, okay? I wouldn't even shower. I wouldn't even eat. I would go straight in the computer, do my homework. Sometimes I do both, right? Like chat with my friend and then do homework. But the point is, I would be the only one probably doing it all 12, okay? People don't believe me probably when I say that. I'm dead freaking serious, okay? I'm dead freaking serious. Part of it was because I hated school, low-key. And I just wanted to get the homework done as soon as possible, okay? I was a mostly A-B student, sometimes C's. So I was pretty good. My GPA was never lower than 3.5 on average. 3.2 maybe was my worst year. That was like, I was going through a lot. Like that was hard, you know. That was hard. But I don't think I ever got lower than that, you know. And it's yeah, so I think I became more of a nerd low-key with time, because like with massage school and hypnotherapy school, I got straight A's all semesters. So yeah, I don't know, something that sometimes you're just not in the right place. Like even in college, I wasn't doing so great. I bombed the class because I was just not in the right place. I didn't want to be there, you know. I think when you really enjoy what you learn, you're gonna ace it, you know. So okay, enough of that. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about a little world history. I really enjoy reading about history. This is a Berkshire Encyclopedia of World History. This is a 5-part book. This is part 1. I'm just starting on this one where they're talking about human evolution from the foraging age. Like there's one era where they just simply, you know, have the simplest of tools, forage for food. They have to hunt constantly just to survive and eat. And I'm learning recently that a lot of civilizations have intentionally died out. You know, it's the early stages when the aliens were watching and they were like, ooh, this isn't going so well. But at least they're learning how to feed themselves. Back then, though, they were actually coming and implanting their knowledge, like how to make a fire, how to grow this crop, right, to the humans. They didn't just magically do it themselves, right? just getting in the starting point of this, and I don't want to describe the graphic details, but yeah, they did some things to let their population die off just purposely, just so that they can maintain a low population to feed everybody, because otherwise people would just starve, you know. It's kind of messed up, but you know, man. So, and like they're talking about how we all came from Africa, you know. So originally, and then spread to Eurasia, and then onwards. So, I honestly wish I could do like a deep dive in history and read about things like historical concepts, but copyright is a thing, so I'll have to look into. That'll probably be my next video. Look into public works, public domain, right? Royalty-free content that I can actually read for videos, because even growing up, like I loved my history classes. They were pretty easy to pass too. So you know, it was just enjoyable to read about the past and listen to the instructor ramble on about what happened in a certain year. That was kind of always fascinating to me, and I think I grew a love for it more with time. Even though a lot of people are like, oh my god, so boring, right? It's actually very fascinating even to just listen to documentaries or like shows they have on YouTube. Like there's a lot of good YouTubers out there who just post content of like voiceovers, and they show different images and videos, and they talk about past history, like during the time of slavery, and it's just really interesting to hear. Or like the Native Americans, that's always an interesting one, and to do like book reports or projects on that, you know, like do history reports on what happened in the time period of like 1800s was always the most boring to me, even though it's so important. But I would say probably 1600s and earlier was more interesting to me than anything. You know, I wish they covered that more than what happened 200-300 years ago. You know, I think in the United States, especially in the Midwest where I lived at the time, they were so focused on the 17 and 1800s, you know. Because it's the U.S., you know, you have to learn U.S. history. It's like, yeah, they already talk about it more than enough in government class at the time, so I kind of had enough, you know. I think American history, to me at least, was pretty boring compared to, and uninteresting compared to, societies of like 1100 AD, or you know what I'm saying? Like, even though they were simpler times, it was just so fascinating to learn. How did they start? How did they function as a society? How did they build buildings? You know, they're finding all these tall structures, and even the Mayans, like, that's way more fascinating to me what they did than people with some big G-U-N-S and those cannons and those big beards and sideburns. I'm like, oh my god, like, if I have to read about one more president, or I was like, I was gonna lose my mind, right? It was just too boring for me. Again, I know it's like, I live in this country, it's important to know the history, I get it, yeah, but it was just not my cup of tea. Look, not my cup of tea, honestly. Like, the fact that we even have to vote, I'm like, why the hell do we have to vote, right? Like, it's just craziness to me. I understand the importance of it, but it's just like, it's just a subject that, like, all that stuff, politics, is just so not interesting to me at all whatsoever. It makes it hard to connect sometimes with people who live here because of that. Thankfully, I met a lot of souls along the way who just, like, simply agree, like, let's just not talk about this stuff, let's just, you know. But I don't know, I never cared much for American history. I never cared much for, as sad as this sounds, I don't want to say this country, but it's you know what I'm saying? It's just like something, I just don't worship a nation, you know? I feel like, you know, there's some weirdness to that. I won't go into it. It has nothing to do with religion. Like, oh, don't worship idols, right? Like, as some people can argue and say that. It's so hard to explain, you know, when I myself don't know so much, you know. I still haven't learned a lot, you know. It's just my opinion. I just feel like this whole, like, worshiping the flag or worshiping, like, it always had, like, a weird impression to me. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but, like, it had a bad taste in my mouth. It never sits right with me to, bow or obey. I always question, like, why do we have to do that? For what someone did 200-300 years ago, it doesn't make sense, It doesn't make logical sense to me, at least. When you think deeply about it, it's like, why are you doing this? What does this symbol really represent, Especially nowadays, where there's a lot of what it could represent, and certain groups represent it a different way or use it the wrong way, And, I don't know, I'm diving too deep here, but basically I think our history repeats itself. So I think we need to dive deeper into world history in order to find our roots, and sometimes we need to go back to basics, right? Sometimes we need to go back to simpler living, even in an advanced technological world. And what's most fascinating to me, I'm not done yet, yes, I keep rambling, but what's fascinating to me about world history is the fact that, how slow things progress. And they mentioned in the book also that, and what I learned so far is that, things progressed so slow back then, in those times, even 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, in those civilizations, that one generation did not have any change, barely, hardly any noticeable change whatsoever. One generation, let's say, is 20, 30 years, right? 25 years, let's say, give or take. One generation didn't have barely any noticeable change at all. And nowadays, in our society, our world, one generation alone has so much massive change. From the time I was born in 94 to now, a boatload has changed. Oh my gosh, an insane amount has changed. So, can you imagine the next gen? Oh my gosh. So that's interesting to me, like how fast it's getting and how exponential it's becoming. It's such a fascinating subject. Okay, so more of my booze books. So haiku, I think I might read this because I used to love even school writing poetry. That's something I miss doing. Haiku was one of my favorites because they're easy to do. You could literally just write, I went to the toilet. A lot came out of me today. Dang, it was a lot. That's a haiku. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could literally write anything. People be like, that's the best poem. Put that ish in the museum. Yeah, hang it on the museum, right? You could literally talk about going to the bathroom and it's be a poem, right? So that's why I loved it. Classic Japanese short poems. Okay. So here we have a crows. So let's see. There's one. Hatsuaki ya tatami nagara no kaya no yogi. I'm just playing with you. I don't know Japanese. It says early autumn, a folded mosquito net for my blanket. What did I just tell you? You could write about anything. It doesn't even have to make sense. That didn't even make any sense whatsoever to me. Anyway, let's move on. Sumi no kumo anjina susui o turanu soyo. That's how it looks. Little Japanese letters here. Spiders in the corners, fear not, I won't be dusting. Hell no, I will be dusting. I don't like spiders. Let's try one more. Harusame ya monogatari yuku minoto kasa. I know they have like when they speak, like it's not, you can't just read it. You gotta be like Harusame ya monokata ryuki minuta kasa. Like you gotta emphasize that ish, right? I know I'm butchering it, I apologize. Gentle spring rain, walking lost in conversation, straw cloak and umbrella. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Okay. Alright, so I don't know why the pages are double. The pages are double and you can't open them. It's interesting. That must be some Japanese stuff. I definitely would like to go to Japan. I might do Japan next year. It just depends. I definitely would have to be there for like 2 weeks. That would probably have to be the first time I put bookings aside for like 2 weeks, and like by then it would be like 4 years. Where I had to put bookings aside for a month. That was hard. especially someone who's like loves work, you know, who's addicted to work. You know, I definitely, I would have to figure something out, you know, because it's so far away. I'd probably be gone for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, yeah. We'll see, God willing. You look, nowadays there's so much unpredictable change in the world. Who the hell knows? I might not even be able to leave next year, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? God willing, God willing. So, but I would love to go, because my partner is like obsessed with Japan. He went there twice, like he just talks about it. Any chance he can get, like, he loves Japan. So, yeah. So I think he probably convinced me. Yeah, I never really was drawn to go there, but I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to see, you know, for a change. It would be nice. So yeah, it's not top of my list, I'm being honest with you, but you know, I'm more drawn to go to different places in the world, honestly. But there's that. Witchcraft: The Story of Man's Quest for Supernatural Power by Eric Maple. So, what I do for a living is technically that, as they call it, the occult. You know, you have tarot cards here, you know, ceromancy, you know, all that good stuff. Occlumancy, whatever they call it, you know, seeing into the vivid future, mediumship, right? Oh my. Oh, a pin doll. But, yeah, so basically, this is something that I've yet to read, but I will go into it. The practice of magic over the centuries has always had a fascination. Crinkly cover, crinkly cover. Oh, okay. That's... okay. I don't know what that represents. Even for the most skeptical observers in here, Eric Maple treats the whole subject of supernatural power and the magic in our minds in depth. A description of the exciting and often sad history of the cunning folk, witches, sorcerers, and magicians all over the world who have claimed special powers over the unknown realm of the spirit forces, leads on to discussion of every aspect of their art, including spells, potions, and ritual sacrifices. 187 illustrations, 50 of them in color, show not only the werewolves, vampires, and witches of previous ages, but also the Satanists, the witch doctors in primitive lands, and the secret witch covens of present-day Europe and America. Yeah, because so much went down in Europe, you know. It makes me wonder, like, what... I know they were escaping religious persecution, right? To come here, right? And they obviously also, it was like an effect of discovering new lands, territorizing new places. That's what man does. And greed and corruption, obviously. So, like, what were they really escaping from? What were they really running from? You know, like, it's interesting to see in those days, even before Christopher, you know, people were saying like, oh yeah, Christopher Columbus. Yeah, right. There were people before then, I'm sure. And there are historical in context of people before him, so it's not just him, you know, like, we're so focused on that, that it's like, you know, how did they know to go out there, you know, and explore, you know, to take all those people in a boat for 2-3 months and just keep going and not know what's there? Like, that's risky. Like, someone must have known something, you know. So, or there's more to the story, you know. I always question everything. I'm like, I don't believe just what I'm even reading, you know. There's more to the story. So, Witchcraft Under Attack. Oh gosh. Some of these depictions I definitely cannot show. Oh my. Okay, yeah, I definitely cannot show that on YouTube. So here's one example of this interestingly extreme artwork. So I'm definitely going to look forward to reading some of this. Oh my. It shows abracadabra, 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 abraca, abrac, abra, abra, channeling Gaga. Abracadabra, abra-woo-na-na. Remember this book, guys? This is one of my first videos on YouTube in 2012. He actually happened to have the same one, which is pretty cool. We definitely do have a couple of repeats because he has so many books. The Practical Encyclopedia of Feng Shui, understanding the ancient arts of placement, theories of Feng Shui are explained, and practical advice is offered on how to make changes in your surroundings to foster good health, improve your relationships, and welcome prosperity into your life. Okay, this is long, so I don't know if I'm going to read that and if I have time to show the other books and do the reading, so I'm not going to read too much. But yeah, this was a wonderful book to read at the time. I definitely started getting into Feng Shui. I think that was like my open door to getting even more into spirituality. Feng Shui was like the precursor for me, you know, to like, oh, everything has energy, and you know, letting the energy flow in the home, and like experimenting with cardinal directions and the elements of you know, our planet, earth, air, fire, water, sun, whatever, right, that they use. Wood for determining metal, for determining you know, different things in the home. So Feng Shui is always interesting to me. It's not like I know too much about it, in all honesty, because there's so much in depth about it. It's a whole science on itself. But I definitely do believe in the power of it. You know, when you come in and walk in a home and then the energy just doesn't flow. You know, some people's homes I've been in, I'm just like, something feels stagnant or stuck. It almost has like an odor, because that energy is not flowing, right? It's not that something smells bad, it's just the energy's not flowing, right? So, you know, your entrance should be an entrance. You know, it should flow in all directions. And if your rooms, I found that, like, if they're too empty, you know, it just has a different energy too. Or if you have too much stuff, you know, it's too stagnant and sticky. So it just all depends. But there's a healthy balance for sure. It talks about Feng Shui in the home. It talks about Feng Shui in the garden and Feng Shui in the office. So those are the three subjects that this book dives deep into. I love these pages. It talks about even teenagers' rooms, bathrooms, conservatories, balconies and window boxes, home study or studios, in your car as well, pets. It goes into symbology, different colors. It's wonderful. I always recommend everyone has a guide like this. And here's another one. It's called KISS, the Greatest Guides Ever. Guide to Feng Shui. Discover how to use this ancient science. Increase your health, wealth, and happiness. Create lasting harmony in your home and relationships. Forward by Wu Xianzheng, Feng Shui master, and written, I guess, by Stephen Skinner. Oh, it's the Keep It Simple series. Keep It Simple series. Find out how Feng Shui can change your life in 10 days. Understand how the various schools of Feng Shui work. Align your life energy, Qi, to enhance your environment. Encourage happiness and romance by making simple changes. And discover how more advanced Feng Shui methods can bring you good fortune. I'm gonna look into that, you know. I'm definitely gonna look into this book. And I love how it's colored. There's different colors here for different portions of the book. The 8 Mansion Formula. Oh, interesting. Wonder what that is. The Feng Shui of exteriors. Feng Shui inside your home. Qi and alignments. What is Feng Shui? So it goes into different topics. Time and the calendar. Okay. Alright, so I love concepts of Buddhism. Again, I don't know too much. I've read all of Matthew Bronstein's works. I think he's pretty educated in that. He has knowledge in Judaism, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, he knows what he's talking about. So, you know, he got me into that, you know, just going into his school for hypnotherapy. I think it allowed me to learn more and open my mind more. Breathe, You Are Alive Sutra on the Full Awareness of Breathing. And he talks about the what is it called? There's a book on it. I'm gonna read next. I forgot to grab it. I might real quick. I have to pause the video. have to see where it is. Maybe it's away. Maybe he put it away. I don't know. There's something on it. Now the sutras and alignment. There's sutras on different things. It's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. But it's just basically a book to live by. Literally, it has like all concepts you need to know. This by I think that's a Vietnamese name. I'm not sure to pronounce it. I apologize. So, yeah, this is a short read, but I'm going to read this. It talks about, I don't know what it talks about, the sutras, I guess. It says, breathe, you are alive. This is a good thing to read. Breathe and you know that you're alive. All is helping you. You are the world. The flower is breathing too. Breathe for yourself and breathe the world. Breathe compassion, breathe out joy, right? So I don't know if I can read all of it again. I'm so worried about copyright. The essence of Buddhism. So, I don't know if this is necessarily something I would read by P. Lakshmi Narasu, but it might be something that I look into or skim over. At the very least, there's just so many books. So The Mastery of Love, we both have this book, and this helped me manifest love for sure. It opened my mind to the art of relationship. So Don Miguel Ruiz with Janet Mills. Don Miguel is a wonderful writer. Purchased another one of his books recently. It's a good book. I've showed it many times before. You have to read it, you know, if you're struggling with love, you know, if you're struggling even just opening your heart. This dives deep into the Toltec wisdom and tradition. In our true nature, which is happiness, freedom, and love. Happiness. We all want to be happy, right? Think back to history. How did people live in those times? Simply, happily. They just loved on one another, and they were free. You know, there was no technocratic dystopian society controlling everything. You know, there's no, you know, government or laws. You know, it was just pure freedom to its core, and I'm sure they felt free to just roam the earth. Be one with it, connect barefoot with the earth. They were probably very healthy, you know? But what is health, right? So, I don't know. I could ramble on and on. I could get nerdy with you all day. And then the final book, The Celestine Prophecy. I've read this too. I read it online, but yes, the actual book is by James Redfield. I've read all of his works, I believe, because they were that interesting, and it just dives deep into spirituality in a different way. It's almost like in a form of storytelling, right? Kind of how Zen masters teach you spirituality, but tell you a story first to help you understand and grasp. So, yeah. In the rainforest of Peru, an ancient manuscript has been discovered. Within its pages are 9 key insights into life itself, insights that each human being is predicted to grasp sequentially, one insight then another, as we move toward a completely spiritual culture on Earth. You know, that's definitely something that's going to be attained with time, and then, like I said, the aliens will come through, right? You have never read a book like this before. The Celestine Prophecy contains secrets that are currently changing our world. Drawing on ancient wisdom, it tells you how to make connections among the events happening in your own life right now. It lets you see what is going to happen to you in the years to come. A book that has been passed from hand to hand, from friend to friend, since it first appeared in small bookshops across America. The Celestine Prophecy is a work that has come to light at a time when the world deeply needs to read its words. The story it tells is a gripping one of adventure and discovery, but is also a guidebook that has the power to crystallize your perceptions of why you are where you are in life, and to direct your steps with a new energy and optimism as you head into tomorrow. A book that comes along once in a lifetime to change lives forever. So it definitely did come to me at the right time in 2018, 2019, that kind of time period. So yeah, Feng Shui, Witchcraft, and world history. That's how diverse my reading is. So I'm going to go ahead and start the tarot card portion now. I'm just going to quickly skim over again. You said, Frances, that you've begun dating a roommate who you've known for 18 years. That's a long time since child, because you're 25 since you were 7 years old. Oh my gosh. They guys complement each other nicely, but they're both a little nerdy and shy, and you'd love spiritual insight how you guys mesh, what your future might hold. Okay, so let's look into that. And again, any poopsie watching out there, whatever resonates with you as well, let the message come through. A personal reading can also be a public one as well. Okay, so let's look into this. How do you guys enmesh? You know each other 18 years, Francis and this roommate. You guys are nerdy, shy. How do you complement each other? What do you need to know about this? What this relationship holds in the near future for you guys? Okay. Oh, okay. So, we're starting with the Page of Swords. And again, if you'd like to book your own tarot reading, TonyBomboni.com, or your own custom ASMR video, just like this one, I have 15-minute, 30-minute, and hour-long readings and a custom ASMR bookings. Okay. Alright, so I think you are hesitant or doubtful or skeptical, because having skepticism right now because you are wondering, how can I, turn this from friendship into relationship? Even though we've been friends for so long, it almost doesn't even feel right, or maybe it feels a little odd to look at them with a new pair of eyes, like all of a sudden we're couples, we're in a relationship now, right? That could be something. Maybe you're like, Paige also gives me that timid vibe, so it's like, yes, you both are definitely indeed shy. You are timid to your core, to your nature. That's who you are. There's no changing you and them, and that's okay. Don't try to change that. Don't try to make things, control things, right? There could be a risk of trying to control the situation here to unfold in the way you want it to be. Let that not be the case, right? Just allow things to flow as they come, Don't try to change the course of things here, okay? Alright. So Ten of Swords, yeah, this is the ending of old ways, old things, old situations. So you're entering a new chapter in each other's lives, and a beautiful one, right? Almost like writing a new story of your life. And it could be a little scary, you could feel a little downtrodden sometimes. Maybe you miss sometimes even just being their friend, right? Maybe you just miss all the moments, all the memories you've had in the last 18 years. And I definitely would handle this gently, be gentle with them, take it easy, still treat each other like friends, because the best relationships work if you treat each other like your best friends. Honestly, they're supposed to be your best friend, right? At the end of the day, so you chose wisely. But yeah, because you're both alike and similar, it can be hard to complement each other, right? So maybe you have to kind of put aside, right? Because this is about endings, putting aside the idea that you guys have to be different, right? That you have to be opposites attract mentality, right? Like, it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes it works this way, sometimes it works that. There's no one right or way or wrong way to go about relationships and do things. That's why it's so fluid, right? Love is supposed to be fluid, right? It's funny, I ended up picking the Mastery of Love book. Definitely something to read upon, okay? By Don Miguel Ruiz, okay? But Ten of Cups shows me a positive outcome here of just pure love to its core essence. And a happy ending, a happy result. This could lead into more like marriage, children, possibly even, look, I know you guys have known each other since you were that little, but you still gotta give it time with love, right? You still have to give it some time, okay? I know you're like, oh my god, we gave it 18 years. Like, give it more time, okay? Trust me, okay? Give this relationship more time. Give it that year, 2 years. I would say 2 years at least before you even think about marriage, okay? Or bring it up too much, because, you have to get to know your lover now, not just your friend, okay? So that can look a little differently, especially in intimate moments, and, maybe you come to realize, I don't think you'll get there, but some people, I'm saying, may come to realize with their partner that, this is maybe we should stick to friends, So, I think it's definitely going to work with you, Francis, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some patience and tolerance here as well. Okay. Just patience, most importantly of all. So I'm actually going to make this 5 minutes longer than an hour, since you booked during the bonus 5 minute of last week. So thank you again, poopsies and everyone who booked during that time. I actually do want to do the shout outs real quick, just as a pause, just as a real quick pause for my poopsies, because a lot of people have been booking lately. I do appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much for your help, for supporting this channel. So thank you, David again, Francis, Alexandra, David, Lai, Blue, or Xavier, Elise, thank you, Jess, thank you, Chris, Lauren, Aubrey, thank you guys so much, all of you, for booking the 30-minute or the hour-long. Those are just my shout-outs, just for people who booked 30-minute or hour-long. I don't do the 15-minute shout-outs, because that gets to be a lot of people shouting out. But, yeah, if you book a 30-minute or hour, you can get a first name shout-out in my video. So thank you guys for showing love and support on the channel. Okay, so I'm going to go on and continue pulling one more outcome card for Francis. The King of Cups. So I'm seeing here, you're in an ocean of love soon. You're very happy. I think you're falling in love quickly. You're falling in love already. I think you might be overwhelmed with how quickly you are. I think you're excited about this. I think this is something that, you know, just brings you a lot of joy. I think this is definitely going to have a good positive result and a good positive healthy outcome for the both of you. I mostly see you in this reading for some reason, Francis. I don't necessarily see your roommate much. I think maybe they're probably a little more shy than you. And that could be why I'm struggling to read into their energy. But I'm definitely getting this vibe of, how do I say? Just love, you know, like, it's funny, it's almost giving me a vibe of, like, there's a lot of fish in the sea, but I choose you, you know, like, it's true love, right? It's not like you're distracted or looking at other people, you know, like, sometimes, you know, even, you know, if you're in a relationship, sometimes someone catches your eye and you're like, oh my gosh, they're very attractive, right? But then you quickly remember, like, no, I love who I love, right? Like, like that kind of energy. It's kind of like, you know, there could be maybe someone tempting or distracting you in the future. That kind of energy. It's like, you could have a tempting offer with someone else or a possible love prospect, but you're like, no, thank you. I love who I love, right? So that energy. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So that's a good energy to work with. But enough about that. Let's look into the partner, right? Let's look more into the qualities and aspects of your partner and how that complements you. Okay, let's look into that right now. Oh, I hear someone coming. Hold on, I have to answer the door. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm so sorry about that. I had to answer the door. Someone was coming over real quick. So, we have the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, okay, interesting, and the Wheel of Fortune. This is a long-lasting relationship. I thought so. I think they're definitely going to eventually grasp that this is a long-term thing. But I think, again, they're also probably equally hesitant or worried about something right now. I think whatever you're trying to read into, Francis, I think they're just like a little worried right now. Maybe they change in their behavior right now. There's a change in their behavior and attitude right now, but it's temporary because they're thinking about things right now. They're a little stressed or worried or concerned, maybe with money. There could be maybe something there. You know, I mean, college students and money don't get along necessarily all the time. I myself was a broke college kid too, right? So I only had like, what, max $200, and here other people I knew in college had thousands, you know, so I know what it's like to go through the struggle. But what I am saying is, I think the relationship may be tested, not because you're not fully in it and involved. They may not be fully in it because of their stressors in life, right? So, it goes beyond money here. It's like, it's more of a, they don't necessarily, you guys might come to a testing point. Every relationship technically does go to a testing period where you have to realize, is this what I want, right? And they may initiate that test, right? They may be the one inviting you to look at things, look at this relationship, not just themselves, but you two together as a whole unit, and see, is this actually going I'm seeing here. So things could temporarily seem like they're faltering, but then it's going to get better. They're going to commit to the long term, okay? So it's not a bad energy. I don't feel genuinely anything wrong here. I just feel like it's a temporary blip in time, and they're going to overcome it, whatever it is on their mind. Maybe just school is stressing them out, exams, that could be, hey, you just said fall exams, right? So that could be it, honestly. It could honestly just be this period in their life. And I always tell people, even in readings, I've done a lot of love readings. Love readings are one of my most common readings. You have to know a person all 4 seasons of the year. Spring, summer, fall, winter. If it works, do it all over again. If it works, that's the 2-year period. Then continue, right? Then continue into something more serious like children and marriage, okay? So, that's my best recommendation based on God knows how many love readings I've done by now, okay? So, from what I've seen over the years, all age groups, all ethnicities, all, it's my best recommendation for relationships, for love, okay? Temperance, yes. This is a final outcome card confirming. Have patience. Take it slow, basically. I think the reading overall is having a recurring theme of you have to take things slow, Francis, okay? And any other poopsie watching, that this resonates with you as well. Because you have to enjoy the relationship, right? Those people who rush into getting the wedding ring and going on their honeymoon are only doing it for the honeymoon and the ring, right? To show it off on a Facebook, right? Or Instagram. So, no, they're not enjoying the moment. They're not enjoying the time with their partner, right? Enjoy every waking moment with your partner. Every day brings a new, what's so exciting about a relationship? Every day is something different. They feel different. You feel different. You both meet after you come home from work, or in your case, school, right? Your classes. You meet at the end of the day, 7, 8 p.m., whatever it is, have dinner together, and then it's like you're meeting a slightly different person each time because you've changed and they've changed too. And that's like still agreeing to be with this person through all the changes is such a beautiful unfolding of evolution. Just like a mother and father watching their child from a baby to 25 years of life, let's say, for example. It's so much has changed, and they still love you, The parents will still love you for who you are. So that's the same with the relationship. 25-year marriage, they still love each other. They're older and they're holding each other's hands on the beach, and only they know how much they've been through and gone through, but there's still love there, That's true unconditional love. And I think this is what will take place with you two shortly, It might take a bit, but it's going to get there, okay? And again, you have 18 years on your plate. A friendship which is so solid and so rare. It's so rare to know each other from childhood. Like, wow, holy snap, cakes. Like, that's crazy. So, I'm happy for you. I genuinely do believe and hope it will work out for the best.